So, good morning, friends. If you've been following my arc back in November of 2018, that's when I decided, hey, let's start making a lot of YouTubes. And the first couple were about that conference. It was called the Secret Knowledge Conference. It was at the Jupiter Hotel. It's kind of funny because now I'm doing a lot with Jupiter notebooks, but it's spelled slightly differently. And the Secret Knowledge Conference was not really secret. That was just kind of a way to get us in the door, of course. It was about becoming less of a secret, like becoming more known. And in my case, that's been an interesting uphill battle because you would think, someone trying to bring back American history as a topic, given we have this multi patented, multi awarded genius who was a flagship technology provider for World's Fairs and expos, and people were like, yeah, this is what makes America great. Here's a self made man with patents and all that who's showing us the future, kind of celebrated. And then after he dies, it's like, who's that? What are you talking about? I've never heard of him. That kind of thing. More like that. Not in the schools. And like I'm this like voice in the wilderness saying, hey, we should teach about great American. We should teach about it's kind of a nice STEM flavored literature too. It's got all this science in it. Virology, crystallography, it's kind of different. So, especially the polyhedra, it makes it all very accessible to little kids, even because there are more whole number volumes. Now, that's something, two things, and then I'll quit on this one. But number one, when I say whole number volumes, if you've been through my slideshow on the 4D meme and all the rest of it, you know that that's just the meme. Whole number volumes is not like all the volumes are actually whole number. They're not, right? Incommensurability is still there. It's not like the icosahedron and the cuboctahedron related by the jitterbug transformation have intercommensurable volumes, right? That sort of irrationality, as we call it, that's a term, is not denied in synergetics at all. However, now, okay, there's the thesis that given Planck length or whatever, nature has limits in terms of its need for precision. So let's have a math where the same sort of level of approximation that we find in nature of non-precision is admissible as part of the mathematics as well. We don't need to best nature in this math. That's kind of the philosophy. We want to emulate nature. So when we find discontinuity in nature, let's have our discontinuity in math as well. All right, things of that nature. Now, another point, though, somewhat related, you'll see in the arc in my story, I come across this guy, Principles of Nature author Wayne Roberts, pretty recently. And I start bringing his website into the picture because he's another skeptic. History has favored square units. Historically, the defining unit of area now widely established is the square unit, and for many good reasons. Firstly, square fit the criteria we've already mentioned and have served us well for centuries, even millennia. But as we shall see, there are other units we might have chosen which work equally well as units of area. What are they, and why have they been neglected as units, and what are the implications of their inclusion into the realm of units? We shall proceed by examining the issue from a scale structure point of view. Now, what Wayne Roberts means by scale structure isn't that far off either from where we go with the word frequency in synergetics, which is our doorway from kind of eternal Platonic tetrahedron into specific tetrahedra that you can hold in your hands. And if it's got a heat to it, you could make it a little warmer or colder. If it's got a color to it, you can make it a little more intensely or less intensely that color. In other words, you're in the world of where you can wiggle in all these different directions, which we also call dimensions, and feed that to a machine learning algorithm. As multidimensional as you need, those are just columns, right? Anyway, I stray, but I want to make it clear that that Wayne Roberts who wrote that, even though in Goodreads it's got his book here, then there's a bio of a Wayne Roberts down the side, and I'm 99.9% sure that that Wayne Roberts is nothing to do. He looks like an interesting guy. University of Toronto. I was thinking, oh, another University of Toronto, because we've got Coxeter, we've got Hinton. But okay, he is University of Toronto and he is Wayne Roberts, but he's not the artist in Canberra, Australia, whose resume is available also on his website. And it's the artist's guy who's got all this material. Now, he doesn't seem to go, that I can see, into volume and questioning why don't we use tetrahedra instead of triangles, in addition to triangles, as an analogy to triangles, instead of cubes, and not to replace cubes, but hey, as an alternative. Why not? And that's what Fuller is exploring in synergetics, and it's not a dumb question. That we don't look at that question or share that he was into that and continue the sort of American story around all that. He did get a Medal of Freedom from President Reagan. This is at the end of his life. He's already writing Grunch of Giants, or it's already out, whatever. So that was all very interesting and all very underwhelmingly mentioned in any of the news media, because they've lost the thread in a lot of ways, the story, and now it's like almost too late to go back and pick it up, right? Too many years have gone by of not covering the story, and it's just there's no way back apparently. So we have to start fresh. If you are concerned that you don't see a lot about all this in the news, just keep in mind decisions were made long ago that a lot of people alive today have no control over. That's what we call karma in some way. Goes way back, okay, to unit squares instead of unit triangles. It's that old. And again, the battle sounds uphill when you think we're trying to like replace or completely like upend math, because that, how could you do that? That's like walking to a castle and having a toothpick or something. What can you do against a castle with a toothpick? No, it's building another castle somewhere else and inviting people to tour that as well. It's like now we have another castle. So, and it's very worth a visit, I would say. Come to my channel sometime. I don't have all my videos carefully indexed by keyword. I mean, I do have interesting titles, so like Got Jupiter, Generating the FCC. I would just jump around. And if you're into Codesters and Python, Codesters is for kids to learn Python. Then I use an IDE called Spider. I use Jupyter Notebooks. By the time you're watching this, maybe those technologies are considered kind of passe. I don't know where we're at when you watch this, but a lot of this whole number volume stuff is, of course, pretty eternal because, talking about ratios and such. So definitely check this out and ask yourself, why aren't teachers, even like professionals who teach mathematics and literature and all that stuff, this is not really up for debate. Should we include some of the more interesting 20th century math by one of the more recognized innovators of the 20th century? Should we include that? And you'd think the answer would be duh, but the answer is, what are you talking about? I don't have any clue, right? Oh, you were one of those Bucky disciples. Wasn't he that crackpot? See, that's how the spin doctors did a number there. But I'm a spin doctor too, so I can spin it the other way. That's what I do. All right, talk to you later.